Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Welcome in, everybody. I wanted to do this topic here. This topic is near and dear to me because October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Also, it's also Breast Cancer Awareness Month. But I wanted to get a jump start, and I prepared, this information for whoever comes across this information. That it will bless them. Hope you guys can hear me okay. Thank you in advance for joining. So if I go ahead and get started with sharing this information, and I have notes. So just make sure you drop your questions in the chat. I'll make sure I get to those questions momentarily. Let me get my mic fixed here, and then we can jump start. So my name is Dr. Faith L. Franks. I just give you a short brief description of me. I am an author, a multiple time author. I think I'm about six time author. Also, I'm an empowerment life coach. Also, a business owner. Also, I do empowerment on a day-to-day basis. So you can find anywhere pretty much on all of my social media platforms. I'm here on YouTube, Faith Franks Empowers. I'm on TikTok, Faith Franks Empowers, or you should see Dr. Faith L. Franks as the username there on TikTok. But if you type in my name, Faith L. Franks or Faith Franks Empowers, I'll come up. Facebook, same thing, Faith Franks. I do have a blue verified check mark for Facebook, so you know it's me. Also on Instagram, same thing. So welcome in to my live tonight, that I'm going to be actually discussing signs of domestic violence and narcissistic abuse. Guys, listen, I am a overcomer. I feel like more than a conqueror when it comes to welcome in Alexis to come to abuse, because I wanted to share signs of domestic violence and narcissistic abuse, because a lot of people don't really know what the signs are, because the abuser tend to manipulate, and there's levels to the manipulation. Okay, so when we're talking about manipulation, manipulation can be very traumatic. It can be very traumatic. It can be very tormenting at times. It can also be a way to trick you to think that it's the truth and really it's a lie. Before I jump into my slides and notes and information on what the signs are, I'm living proof. Like, I almost lost my life by the abuser. So I'm living proof that God can cover you even in times such as going through those type of signs of abuse. And you don't want to stay in it, because the longer you stay in it, the more traumatic it gets. The more traumatic it gets. So You want to make sure that you're hold on one second, guys. I gotta do something with my life right quick. Hold on one second for me. I want to get, eh, I come against the enemy who's trying to distract this live. I plead the blood of Jesus against the tactics of the enemy against this live, because this information that I'm about to give is gonna save somebody's life. And please don't come to my live being disrespectful. Jesus, Muhammad, Christ. Please don't do that. Get off my live right now by the blood and power of Jesus Christ. Don't come on this live doing that. This is information that can save somebody's life. So how dare you come on this live being disrespectful? Dismiss yourself. Okay, sorry about that, you guys. I had to delete somebody. Hi, Lauren. Thanks for joining. And Alexis, thanks for joining. That's just what people do. Trolls begin to come into the chat. I usually try not to turn the chat off because I want people to ask questions if they have to. So sorry about that, you guys. So thank you, you all for joining that I don't see in the chat. But I was speaking on manipulation, right? Manipulation is a tactic that the abuser uses to try to control or handle you the way that they want to handle you, so it can be in their best interest. So we just got to be careful of that type of control and when it comes to abuse. But anyway, I wanted to just share with you. You're looking at somebody that actually experienced and been through narcissistic abuse as well as domestic violence. So it in my situation, it was financial abuse, it was mental abuse, it was physical abuse, it was as well as verbal abuse. So yeah, there's multiple abuses can happen in one instance. Like while you've been the victim and you're going through it, that abuser can have multiple levels of abuse. As the more you stay in it, it don't get easier, it don't get better, it get worse. So that's why you have to get out of it, because this is literally not only attack on you as the victim, but it's also an attack on the actual abuser. Because just like you need prayer to get out of the situation, the abuser also need prayer to get out of the situation. It's a type of attack and disease for that person's mental, right? And so let's get into the signs of abuse. Let's get into that, because many people don't know the signs. So I'm going to start out with the signs of domestic violence, okay? So that you will be aware of early on in the situation these signs, okay? And I hope you guys can hear me okay. Let me get a little closer to the mic. Okay? So, recognize the signs early. Three P's that you want to remember to protect. Protect your peace, protect your power, and your purpose. Those are the three things you got to protect off the top, because you want to protect your mental health even in the process, right? Early signs of abuse. Number one, control. They dictate what you wear, where you go, who you talk to. You got to be aware of multiple levels of control because there's levels to it. They'll also begin to isolate you from your family, friends that you love and care about, and they love and care about you. Be mindful of control. Sign number 2, isolation. They slowly cut you off from friends, family, and support systems that you love and care about, and they love and care about with you. I kind of jumped ahead of myself, but this is important. If you ever, let me give you a good example of isolation. The enemy within that person that's abusing you wants to level up the isolation. If you ever watch the Animal Channel or ever watch, we all can learn from animals. Animals, if you notice, run in herds and packs so they can be protected. One thing you got to remember about this situation is very serious, because what the abuser try to do is isolate you off by yourself so the abuser can devour you. Think about the animal channels when you watch the animals and the prey is trying to get to that one isolated animal. It is not saying you're weak, but that's what they tend to do. The prey begin to weaken that person over time through the abuse, through the manipulation, through the control. And it continues to try to weaken that person to get them isolated off by themselves so they can devour that person. But if you notice, even about the Animal Channel and about how the animals run in herds for protection, to protect each other, this is the same thing with the abuser and the victim. That abuser cannot attack the victim while that victim is connected to everybody else. So don't fall prey to isolation when it comes to the person that's abusing you. Sign number 3, love bombing and devaluation. The intense affection and being in the beginning, followed by constant criticism and belittling. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Know your worth. Know the value that God has placed on your life. God said that we are fearfully and marvelously made. Our price is far above rubies. He has put a value and a worth on us that cannot be calculated manually by human numbers. That's the power of God's math versus man and woman math. Okay? So beware of the extreme love bombing and devaluation. You have too much greatness within you to allow somebody to come into your space and devalue your greatness. You're too powerful. You too valuable. Your worth is far above rubies. That's a high price to put a value on your life. Sign number 4, walking on eggshells. You feel unsafe to speak your mind, fear, anger, or punishment. Listen. God has given you a freedom of speech. You have the power that's on the inside of you. This is where the abuser try to bring in extreme tormenting fear. But let me tell you something. In the book of Timothy, God talks about he did not give us a spirit of fear, but love, peace, and a sound mind. Do not allow the abuser to come in, have you walking on eggshells with extreme tormenting fear. And again, God did not give you a spirit of fear, making you feel unsafe. Be free to speak your mind. Number 5, financial control. Remember I said earlier when I was going through my abuse situation, that was one of the things, financial abuse. It was spiritual abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, financial abuse, verbal abuse. Right? So be mindful of that. Be mindful of that. Financial control. They restrict your access to money or make you fully dependent on them. Always have you some emergency cash stash somewhere. Just in case you have to pack up instantaneously or urgently to get in a safe location. Number 6, gaslighting. They deny your reality, making you question your memory, sanity, or worth. Y'all, abuse take a toll on the mental. It takes a toll on your psyche. Make sure you be careful of gaslighting. Gaslighting causes mental trauma. Gaslighting causes you go through so much trauma through your brain through this psychologically that you have to allow yourself to go through brain healing as well. Number 7, mood swings. Extreme highs and lows, leaving you emotionally drained. Number 8, jealousy. Jealousy and possessiveness. They accuse you of things you haven't done or monitor your every move. Y'all, listen up. Do everything in your willpower to educate yourself in these areas and these signs, and you know that you are in abuse. Don't be in denial. Don't be in denial. These mere signs of abuse. Make sure that you taking the initiative. You're taking full responsibility to do everything you possibly can to get out of those abuse situations. These are dangerous situations. You're looking at somebody by the faith of God made it out alive. Now, my aunt, I can give you, if anybody wants to reach out to me directly, I can send you the link. It is on YouTube of my aunt. Like, I made it out of my abuse situation alive. My aunt did not make it out alive. She lost her life. And her story pretty much is all over the internet. And I can, if anybody wants to look at that story, just understand that has been some long-term abuse there that my aunt was going through and didn't really talk about it much. That's another thing. Always find you a confidant to talk about the abuse. Don't be so embarrassed, because by you talking to someone, that will save your life. Make sure you find somebody you can confide in. Me personally, I had to go through legalities. So, my investigator who was working on my case, gave me a few suggestions, suggested that I get my concealed weapon permit and a gun. Me, of course, because being a woman of faith, I didn't want to go to that avenue of going to get a concealed weapon permit and a gun. But I did for my protection. Although I have assurance with God himself and a relationship with God, but practicality, that's what my investigator kind of educated me on. Like, I get it. I'm also a man of faith. He was like, I have a relationship with God as well, but I also understand practicality that I'm living in this evil world. So I had to find a way to protect myself legally. And that's what my investigator encouraged me on. But so I did do that. And also make sure that you find a support system for counseling and therapy, because that's so important. That's so important because this type of abuse, I mean, it takes a toll on your traumatic events that happens over and over and over and over and over and over and over every day. Because my situation became an everyday thing. It started being like up and down roller coaster emotionally, and I had to make sure that I took care of my mental health. I had to make sure that I was doing practical steps to free myself out of the situation, as well educate myself as well. So me personally, I had to live by a secret code. A secret code that my community, my family knew. I had all my family programming my phone on speed dial. So if I had speed dialed them and used my code, gave them my code, they knew I was in trouble. They knew that they had to call 911 and send a police to my rescue. I only decided to go over the signs of domestic violence, but the next live, part 2 to this, I will go in and do the signs of narcissistic abuse. So anybody have any questions on those? So one thing I want to encourage you all on is that if you feel like a family and friend are in trouble, co-worker or whoever, you feel like going through this abuse, always give them 1-800-799-SAFE. Always give them the domestic violence hotline so that they can get immediate help. Like when I got the help, the system that helped me was a system that was a local community advocate program that helped with these type of situations. So it's always good to reach out to your local advocate programs that work with these type of situations. But there are so many people that, even one of our classmates, like the abuser that kept on, I mean, it doesn't matter. Y'all get a restraining order. Get a restraining order to protect you. Get a restraining order to protect yourself. And listen. And again, don't be embarrassed about what you're going through. Just focus on freedom and getting out of the situation and getting yourself and your children in a safe location. So make sure you always call the domestic violence hotline. And again, that number is 1-800-799-SAFE. SAFE. SAFE. So that's all I have for part 1, you guys. That is recognizing the signs early of domestic violence. And if you guys have any questions, if you want to go ahead and put those in the chat, I'll see how many questions I can answer. And if you guys don't have any questions, you can always come back to this chat and put them in, and I'll make sure I'll get those questions answered for you. But because this is so dear to me, I wanted to get a jump start before October get here, Domestic Violence Awareness Month, to give you some nuggets, to give you some information, to give you some signs that you can look for to know that you are actually in an abuse situation, so that you can be able to get yourself out of that situation. Love yourself and go be great.